Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another drawing process for this week. My name is Victoria and I am a fine art artist, illustrator, and art teacher. And today we are going to see how I drew Becky from Spy X Family. You'll get to see me create this Becky illustration from start to finish, and I'm going to kind of like walk you through and show you the process of what I do when I transfer a sketch onto a clean and thicker paper. So that's the Bristol paper that I usually create my final artworks and illustrations and drawings that I'm working on. So if you guys are ready, let's get started. First, what I usually do is just have a sketch on a separate piece of paper, so whether if it's like printing paper or mostly I use sketch paper from now on. I try to build a habit of doing it on sketch paper because it's just a better texture on it and it's a lot more archival and it can last a lot longer. So what happens is that once I finish trying out all the different poses and like different angles of what I want the character to be in, I would actually test all that out on the sketch paper first before I transfer onto a cleaner paper, which is what I'm doing right now. I am on the floor and I have a lamp at the bottom of this transparent plastic board here, and I use that as a light table because I don't have an actual light table. So this is like the old-fashioned way, or like the do-it-yourself kind of DIY way of having a light table. If you don't have like a fancy one at home, you can always use a transparent board, something that you can actually draw on and see through with the lamp at the bottom, so you can actually have the light shining from the bottom there to transfer your drawings and kind of see what in the world you're drawing and transferring and tracing over onto your clean surface. So yeah, so there you go, there's Becky. I kind of do transfers of a few drawings all at the same time because it's more convenient that way, so that I do want to transfer, I get a whole bunch of drawings ready, and then I kind of start working and coloring the actual illustration. So here you kind of see where I kind of jump in and start working on Becky, and usually there's no specific spot that I usually start on when I work and start an illustration. Sometimes the eyes, sometimes the other parts though, but most importantly, after transferring the drawings, what happens is that some of the lines may be a little bit off, so I would usually always have my sketch on the side just in case if there are certain lines that I'm not sure if that's where I want it to be, so I could also still change. So nothing's actually set in stone when it comes to coloring over here, because you can still adjust. You're free to adjust as you please. And remember, kind of like how we did that coloring drawing episode or drawing video that I did last week, I always start light. So when you're usually starting with the color pencils, you're kind of lightly filling in and kind of seeing where the lightest parts, where there will be color, and then what color will be in certain places. So with the hair for Becky, she has like a really dark brown, so I was actually okay with starting with a darker color, and if I wanted to make the colors a little bit richer, I can always add lighter colors on top of that. So here I'm doing kind of like a mixture of brown and a reddish brown, which is mahogany. I think so. I probably used the Laurentien colored pencils. Yeah, I sometimes mix, so basically whatever I have at home, because I can't really buy those color pencils anymore, the Laurentien, and basically I would kind of use up anything that would work for the illustration. So if I didn't have that anymore, I would probably just replace it with Crayola and use mahogany, because that's the closest reddish brown that they have in the 24 color set. I don't remember exactly how many there were in the 50 color set, because I always get the 24 color set. But here we kind of got the hair lightly filled in, and then we're also kind of starting a little bit on the clothing, so I'm kind of re-outlining those faint lines that I transferred over, and I will also kind of add a little bit of a base color to the mouth and the tongue, and and so on. And I think so I kind of colored in a little bit of the skin tone over here, as you can see on Becky's left cheek. It's a little bit peachy and all that stuff. So kind of gradually filling in the tongue, and then any place where you want to leave a lot lighter and brighter, you keep it empty because you use the white of the paper to kind of create that lighter tone. So you usually want to use a lot of the white of the paper to create your illustrations, whether if it's lighter and more brighter, because I do not use white to blend. I'm not a big fan of that one because it does make the colors a lot more faded and make them look a little bit milky and pastel-y, so I'm not a big fan of that. I like my clear, strong, and vibrant colors, so I do not blend with white. But I might be open to try something like that in the future, but yeah, with Crayola it doesn't work as well, so I just kind of stick with the pure colors and then just blending with a lighter color if possible. Okay, and now time to do the ripples. This is a very steady process, so I want to go slow. Go really slow and all that stuff. And yeah, so Becky is mostly made out of very earth tone like colors, and it's like a really nice harmony because I think so I really enjoyed coloring her hair a lot, and then also her eyes, because it's like a nice light brown and kind of like a golden tone to it. So I usually use a golden yellow with a light brown and a brown and probably black for like darker tones and accents. So, and then we got her handcuffs, I guess. No, sorry, it's not handcuffs. It's I don't know what you guys call that. I forgot. My words are all over the place today though. But the actual style things on their school uniforms. The school uniform's actually designed quite well, I would say. It's nice. It looks fancy, but it's not too much. It's not too flamboyant. It has got that it has that nice traditional feel to it, and it looks very grand, very not majestic though, but very like rich people, you know. It's yeah, it's a prestigious school, so you want to make sure that it looks nice, proper, neat, and fancy. So, okay, so here with the clothing, as you can see, I'm adding black right now. So what happens that I use the lighter color, which is a dark brown, which is just called brown, and with Crayola, and then I use that as a base color, and I kind of add on top of that using black. So it really depends on if I want to create a warmer black or a more colder black. I would use it for colors. So for example, in this drawing over here for Becky, I used brown to create a warmer kind of black because it matches a lot better with the gold and all that stuff. But sometimes I would actually add purple with the black to create a darker tone and also a colder tone too. And we are back to the hair. A lot of back and forths, but back to the hair, kind of adding and mixing lighter colors together and kind of finding the shapes and forms and just kind of curving the hair out, and gotta keep those nice shines on there. And as you can see, I use a paper to put or kind of to lean my hand on, just because I don't want to smudge any of the work that I did on the face. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I would use a Maulstick, which is basically, I think so, I'm not sure if I did it for this particular drawing though. I probably did at some point, but it's like this stick that you would actually lean on to the easel, and then you would lean your hand onto it so that you would have like no contact whatsoever on the drawing or the illustration that you're working on, so it keeps it basically, I guess, rub free, so like you do not do any type of rubbing on it, because as you draw and then you have your hand movement going back and forth all the time, that would actually slightly rub all the colors off just a teeny bit, and you can sometimes see a little bit of smudges on the sides where you left blank and white. So having a paper at the bottom or using a Maulstick would help prevent you from smudging your drawing, and then also it just keeps it a lot cleaner and it keeps the colors vibrant. So it was actually really interesting where for the longest time I was wondering why the color pencil started to fade a little bit, but I kind of noticed it was because I was rubbing some of it off while I was actually coloring in and polishing other places up. So yeah, so you want to be a little bit more careful when you're kind of reaching the final stage and all stuff where everything's like nicely colored in and it's getting to the point where it's like almost finished. But next thing you know, when you start working on something else, the part that was completed, you kind of rubbed off all the color off, so then you have to go back and do the job again. Just a teeny bit, but still, it's nice to have like a set of paper or having a stick so you can lean on so you don't touch any of the drawing surface, except for the pencil. When I was actually video editing this drawing process, it was actually 9 hours, I think so, of drawing time. Like around like 10 hours of actually full working time and actually coloring everything in from, well, actually that's not included with the sketch though, but like just the coloring part, and then not all, yeah, transferring part's included though. So transferring part, coloring part, and until it reaches to the final completed stage with the final artwork, it took about 10 hours to complete this. So it was not bad. I have like longer hours and work time on certain other illustrations, but I think over the years, as you draw more, as you kind of practice more, you kind of get the hang of how much time and how to be efficient with your time when you're working on your illustrations and all that. So time, I would not worry too much about it. Just enjoy the process of drawing and coloring, and eventually you'll kind of have a balance between the timing and then also the quality of the work, because I would actually definitely rate the quality over work over how much time I spent on it, because everybody has a different pace and I do not want to rush my illustrations usually. Even if I do have a deadline, I make sure I give myself enough time so that I have the work done properly, and making sure that I have time to kind of double check, polish, and kind of adjust things if I need to. So yeah, just kind of trying to find balance, because I know a lot of people are worried about, it's like, oh look, this person kind of drew this in like X amount of time, right? So that, I think, so really depends on the person, whether if it's important or not. Like definitely it is important, because you don't want to spend like 20 years on like one illustration because they'll never be finished, but at the same time still give it time, because good things take time. So you want to make sure that you spend the time to think. I'm saying time a lot in this phrase though, but yeah, you take your time to see the colors, see the composition, see the lightings, the shadows, the colors. I said that already, but yeah, just kind of overall as a whole piece, and also probably thinking about the background as well, because I usually have that thought out the last minute most of the times, unless if I did have a plan for it already previously. So for Becky, I already did have a plan for the background, and it was so that it matches with all the other Chibi Spy X Family illustrations that I'm creating this year. So basically they all have like this star-like background with different background colors. So for Becky, I chose like a nice violet and purple because it matches her personality, and it really matches with her outfit and all that stuff, and her golden eyes, because it's complementary colors. So we're kind of getting to the point where I'm kind of polishing up majority of the drawings and stuff, and we have about like 6 minutes of polishing up before I actually start working on the background, but as you can see, I'm cleaning up a lot of the edges, adding shadows, adding highlights and all that stuff, and just kind of smoothing everything out, and also making things a lot darker and a lot more vibrant. So that takes quite a bit of layering. I think it's at least 10 layers, if not more, because I usually don't count how many layers. I only count layers when I'm teaching and all that stuff so that the students know how much layers to kind of approximately add though. But it really is based on the feel, and it also depends on how much pressure you put when you're layering. Definitely keep it light because you don't want to color too hard though, but everybody's hand's slightly bit different. So certain people, and I've seen that from different students, some are lighter than others, which is fine, but you just kind of have to be able to control it. That's the main thing, because if you're pressing too hard on the pencil and you can't control how light or dark you want it, then that defeats the purpose. So you want to make sure that you're able to control your coloring and adding darker tones here and keeping some other tones and colors lighter where you need it. So yeah, just balance is key. I talk about balance a lot, so balance is key when it comes to drawing, painting, coloring, yeah, all those stuff. So yeah, here you kind of see where things are getting a lot more darker, things are getting filled in nicely to the point where it's pretty much complete more or less, and just kind of moving it down. So it's actually nice because you actually can see a difference from the bottom part of her uniform and the top part. So very drastic big difference, because the bottom one's like super pale because it's just like a very light base tone with the brown, and then over here on the edges I'm adding a lot more black and a lot more brown to kind of blend in everything. But you definitely don't want to blend in everything the same tone. So for example, you kind of see on the left side at the bottom of the uniform there, that really dark black area. So I would not want to color the whole uniform in that black because that's way too black. So I kind of try to find a balance, just because the center part is a little bit lighter and all that. So I want to be a little bit more careful to not make the whole uniform the same tone. And just adding a last few details on the golden parts of the uniform. These are pretty interesting. It's a lot of details for sure to add, and I'm using brown for the darker shadows on the details of the sleeves, and then also I added a little bit of tan, gold, and yellow to kind of blend everything in. But yeah, it's I love the little details that they have on the designs for the sleeves and also the bottom part of the dress too. So it's super fancy. I think so the boys' uniform slightly a bit different. I can't remember. Do they have the golden part? I think so they all look the same, don't they? I think this is just like slightly bit shorter and they're wearing pants instead of dresses. Yeah. It'll be kind of weird to see the dudes wearing dresses. It'll be interesting. But yeah, so here I'm kind of shading over and coloring over with yellow to kind of give a golden feel to it, and kind of using the brown to add the darker accent and filling in all the little rims and little details there. It's a lot of details though, but I enjoy drawing details. I love adding details and stuff, and it's kind of hard for me to not add details or just to kind of have simple drawings, because I kind of just naturally add more and more where I can't stop anymore. So but yeah, it's nice. It's got the nice qualities to it. It does take a lot of time to kind of add in all of these little details, but once it's done, it looks super nice. So I usually look forward to the final touches there, so it looks nice and beautiful. And here I'm adding tan, a little bit of tan, and just kind of rubbing it in, and yellow. So yes, it's like a combination of, to create like gold colors, there is no gold colored pencil usually. Like, you do have one that's called gold, but it doesn't come out gold. And you just have to kind of create it with different tones and belly tones and color, because the gold changes depending on the lighting. So as we see gold, there's a lot of different colors that are incorporated into it. So, and yay, we're finally on the background now. So I had to sketch out and draw those little stars out first before I did any of the coloring, or else I would not know where everything is going to be. So I have to find those stars, sketch them out, and see where I'd like to place them. And then once I'm kind of happy with that, then I just kind of start filling in gradually. Yeah, the background took quite a long time too. I did cut off a lot of footage, or else this video would have been 9 hours long though, but it's a nice purple or violet, because I think so. I don't remember what I used. It was another Laurentien colored pencil, and it's more like a violet. It's almost like a magenta, but not exactly magenta because it's more purple. So yeah, there you go. Like, sketching away, listening to music and sketching away. But yeah, no, it took quite a bit of time, and it took a lot of layers to blend in. So I also blended a little bit of pink too to get lighter fades of the color tone, and I also did add magenta because it's like a lot more vibrant colors. So it's like a mixture of 3 different colored pencils to create this nice, beautiful pinkish violet background. But yeah, and then keeping your pencils sharp. And yeah, this is the place where I use the magenta. So here's magenta, here's pink again. You can see the pencils I'm holding in the other hand, and more pink, more magenta, and then more of that violet. I think this was mauve. I think this is what it was called. And more mauve, more mauve, more magenta, more magenta, more magenta. And yeah, so it's a lot of back and forth color process, and I'm kind of going over with yellow on the golden parts again, and just adding a slight bit more touch-ups and final details. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So a few main colors for this particular illustration is yellow, there's red, there's browns, there's purples and pinks and all that stuff, and there's like skin tones. And yeah, it's overall I really enjoyed drawing Becky. It was super fun. I love adding all the little details and the background coloring, and then the colors just came out really nice. I think this is, I don't know if this is one of my, I would rank it probably one of like my top Spy X Family drawings that I did this year, other than Lloyd, because Lloyd is still my favorite one, and I can't believe I forgot to record that. That's kind of sad. I do have smaller footage. I'll probably just add it in here just for the sake of it though, but yeah, no, it's kind of unfortunate that I just totally forgot to record it. I was like so into it. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and then later I noticed like, oh poop. I forgot to record. But that's okay. I'll remember next time. And now we are here to add the highlights with the white ink, my favorite part. This is the final touch-ups that I would actually create for the illustration, so I'm kind of making the white areas a lot brighter, and then also just kind of touching the last few things up. It really brings out the shine and then the character as well, because it really makes the drawing pop a lot more with these final smaller details. I only add the highlights for anything that's really glossy and shiny, so I did some of it for I definitely do it for the eyes, and then also her hairpin, I think so I did a little bit of it, her lips, or like the tongue, and then also the golden parts of the uniform. So yeah, tongue. And then I probably have to move it. Yeah, I'll have to move it down. I think so, did I add some on the ribbon? I'm not sure, because that part is also slightly a bit glossy, so I could have added some there. It's just kind of like enhancing the white. That's technically what I'm doing. So you're making the white brighter, just because when you're coloring, it does smudge a little bit, even though I use the paper and also a Maulstick. But like, as you can see in this drawing, I did not use a Maulstick. Sometimes I just forget. I know it's kind of funny though, but that's okay, because like certain whiter areas I can always go back with the ink to kind of polish and add that onto that. But it really does make it complete with the nice highlights that you can add on to it. So, and then here's more over here for the bottom uniform of the dress. Yeah, Becky has no legs. Well, like, no, she has legs though, but not for this drawing. Yeah, there you go. It's a steady process. I use like the skinniest brush I could find because it's such small details and all that stuff, so I don't want to use like a big brush and just kind of cover up every single little thing. So be precise, be careful for anyone who's trying to do this. But yeah. And we have completed Becky! So I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new illustration of Becky from Spy X Family. I hope you guys learned a few new tips. It was nice chatting, kind of talking about this new drawing and illustration and also the drawing process. And I hope it was somewhat helpful for you guys to see the whole process of how I color, how I prepare my illustrations, and how to kind of fill it in and work on it and bring it to the final completed stage. If you guys like this video, please subscribe, please press the like button too if you like this brand new drawing process video, and also please do comment below to see what other new illustrations and drawing process you would like to see. There's more Spy X Family coming, there's more Chainsaw Man coming, there's a whole bunch of new ones that I'm actually currently still creating because I'm prepping for new convention coming up for Animethon 2023. That's gonna be in July, I believe. So yeah, feel free to check out Animethon 2023. I will be there as an artist ally, and I just kind of like signed up for panelists. So let's see if we make it into panelists, because if I do, we're gonna have a fun drawing workshop. So that's gonna be super awesome for this summer events and activities that's going to happen soon. So yeah, thank you again so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody learned something new from this episode. And if you want more goodies, I also have more stuff on my Patreon. There's drawing constructions, drawing exercises, coloring pages, drawing process. You get early access to my artwork, also getting voting polls of future illustrations I could make, also learning polls that you can choose to see what else you would like to learn, and getting tips and advice on. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo stuff on my Patreon, so check that out. Yeah. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you again so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend, a wonderful month, I guess, but I'll still see you guys next week and in the next video. But until then, have fun practicing, have fun drawing, stay creative, just do lots of art stuff, enjoy coloring, enjoy trying out new stuff too, and never stop learning. So yeah, okay, I shall see you guys next time. Take care, bye-bye! No, wait, I did use the Maulstick for this one, haha! But yeah, that's the Maulstick. You see the stick? That's the Maulstick. We know what it looks like now, woo! But I'll probably do more videos about that one specifically, so you kind of know how to use it. But yeah, yay!